So, Angela Rayner has big plans, and they will almost certainly have serious consequences for free speech in the UK. Labour's deputy leader is pushing forward with a new Council on Islamophobia. The problem is though, is this a step towards tackling discrimination, or is it just a backdoor for a new blasphemy law and another crushing blow to free speech courtesy of Labour? Rayner's new initiative aims to establish an official definition of Islamophobia, and she's teaming up with former Tory Attorney General Dominic Grieve to make it happen. The council will have 16 members and will advise ministers on tackling so-called anti-Muslim discrimination. But here's the big question. What would this definition actually mean? And why are so many people, including legal experts, free speech advocates, and even some Muslims, worried about it? The big concern is that this could effectively introduce a new form of blasphemy law in the UK, something that we scrapped centuries ago. The proposed definition of Islamophobia, which is already backed by Labour by the way, claims that it's rooted in racism and that it targets expressions of Muslimness or perceived Muslimness. This wording is dangerously vague. What exactly does expressions of Muslimness mean? Could it mean that criticising Islamic beliefs, laws, or even symbols like the hijab is now off limits?
Moment. What I'm hoping, Keir, is your experience as a prosecutor means you'll be thinking about the strategy we can use to make sure we take action against those who break the law.
Now, despite everything we've seen happening on our streets over the past 9 months, despite the calls for jihad, the rampant anti-Semitism, the insults shown to our public monuments, what is the most worrying thing? Yes, the terrible rise in Islamophobia. When it forms a new government, Labour will almost certainly embed in law a definition of Islamophobia which will make criticism of this belief system illegal. It will restrict freedom of speech even further. We will effectively have once again a blasphemy law in the UK.
Labour argues that this is just about tackling discrimination, but the UK already has strong anti-discrimination laws to protect Muslims, just like every other religious group. So why does Islam need a special category? Keir Starmer said, Islamophobia has been rising, especially since October the 7th. We need to take action. But anti-Semitism has also been rising since October the 7th as well, but no special measures announced to tackle that. And of course, Sadiq Khan says this is about making sure we're a tolerant society. Well, of course he would say that, but we're already one of the most tolerant societies in the world. This is not to make us more tolerant, it's to make us more compliant. It's designed to take away our free speech and will be used for more control. Already, we have seen a few days ago a man was arrested for burning a copy of the Quran. And while I personally think that burning any religious text is bad taste and disrespectful, I don't feel that it crosses the line from being distasteful to becoming an actual crime, and this arrest could set a dangerous precedent going forward. And let's be real, over the last few months we've seen mass protests, calls for jihad on UK streets and the defacing of war memorials. We also now know that the Southport tragedy was an act of terrorism from an extremist, and yet what is Labour prioritising? They're not tackling radicalisation, not cracking down on extremism, but creating a law that could make criticising Islam illegal. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. Many believe this council is part of a broader Labour strategy to reshape the UK's policies on migration, multiculturalism and speech laws. It will be used to silence dissenters and give more power to your typical Labour voters. So remember when Keir Starmer said he'd smash the gangs? Well, it turns out he's just smashing Britain's borders wide open instead. At the same time as pushing this Islamophobia law, Labour's making it easier for illegal migrants to gain British citizenship. So is this just a coincidence, or is this Labour's way of importing voters and then using these new blasphemy laws to stop us speaking out about it? The message here seems clear. Open borders, restrict speech, and if you criticise it, well, off to jail. And who is going to be paying for all this bureaucracy anyway? Taxpayers, of course. Angela Rayner hasn't yet mentioned how much this is all going to cost us, but typically such councils are funded through allocations within the budgets of the relevant government departments, and in this case it's the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, which is led by Angela Rayner. The MHCLG's budget is part of the broader government funding for councils. So this is one of the reasons why our council tax is going up by between 5 and 10%. And what percentage of that is even going to be paid for by Muslims? Because in 2021, only 51.4% of Muslims aged 16 to 64 in England and Wales were employed, which was the lowest percentage of any ethnic group. Free speech in the UK is under threat. And if we don't speak up now, it may be too late. Subscribe to the channel for more real analysis, not mainstream narratives. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and thank you for watching.